Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, episode 7-6. We're your hosts. I'm Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And every week we get together, we listen to some just great video game music from all genres, all systems, doesn't matter, all sorts. We get into it.
Yes, we do. Sometimes we have to jump across the time-space continuum to get those hot jams. We will do that. Sometimes we have to get out of bed before 6 a.m. We will do that too.
Pernell, we gotta go back.
We gotta go back to 6 a.m. I don't know if I want to do that, man. It's late.
I was out to dinner earlier with Christy, and we were talking about the Sega Saturn.
Saturn, huh?
So we were talking about the Sega Saturn, and she said, I don't know what that is. And I said, well, Sega created this system that had a lot of great 3D capabilities. It was CD-based. And then Sony released the PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII, and then that was the end of that.
And it didn't help also that, if I remember correctly, the Saturn was released. I mean, most people nowadays know the PlayStation 3 as the big overpriced release blunder, but the Saturn dropped for like $400, $450.
Ouch, man.
At a time when consoles were releasing for $2.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, and then the Dreamcast. And the Dreamcast was great. It was based on their arcade hardware, the Naomi board system, and it had a modem for online play and 4 controller ports. And then the PlayStation 2 came out and said, we can play DVDs. And then that was that.
Pretty much.
That was pretty much it. And she asked me, she said, what's determining like when a system is through? And I said, well, I think a lot of it has to do with hardware and with like first party content. And just, I don't know because I've never been on that train before.
Whereas I sniff from that train. And
you're all into that glue.
Yes, I am.
You sniff that glue.
All about it. And suffice it to say, it comes, like what you said is definitely a factor, technology advancement, because companies are pretty much looking to the next big thing as soon as they release the current big thing.
Yeah. And
in addition to that, it could be expedited by poor sales. Nintendo would be a good example of that right now.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up, because the Nintendo Switch was just released, but they've also released that new Zelda game for their prior system at the same time.
And they actually have a knack for it. They did it with Twilight Princess too, and I still wonder about their state of mind for that, because on one hand, Zelda Breath of the Wild would be a killer app for the Switch. So the question becomes, why release it for the Wii U? And I think the answer is they want their older fans to feel like they weren't abandoned, but they release it in limited enough quantities that it may as well not have been released at all.
You mean they released the Switch in limited qualities, or the game Zelda in limited qualities?
The Zelda for Wii U.
Okay.
Because Twilight Princess on the GameCube, on the Wii had a similar problem. Was it the Wii? Yeah, because we had Twilight Princess. I'm off my mind. Anyway, the point is, I know for a fact that it came out and it was like a very small print. And it's going on right now with Breath of the Wild. I know people that actually want it for the Wii, they're actually struggling to find the blasted thing. Huh. But if you wanted it for the Switch, it's everywhere. It's got a ridiculously high attach rate, even still. Even though I know a number of people that flat say, I'm not even going to buy the Switch for time being. So, but I think that's why they do it. Personally, I could be wrong. This is an opinion-based statement, but I believe that they just do the older console just to make their older fans not feel so alienated or left behind.
Yeah, knowing that when a system comes out, the quantities are going to be limited, and they want to continue what looks like support. I guess it's not unprecedented, but we're talking about music, and music knows no boundaries,
except for
console,
except for noise dampening equipment. Right.
Yeah, if like the one system canceled another one out.
Oh yeah. That would be some dampening.
That would be interesting in the console wars, right?
Oh yeah, like someone's playing a PS4 in one room and an Xbox One in the other. What sound quality will come out on top? I don't even want to know.
But we were talking about Sega Saturn because today's topic is puzzle games for the Sega Saturn, which I thought would be great because maybe Pernell had more exposure to that, because I didn't know any Saturn games other than Marvel Capcom. I'm sorry, not Marvel Capcom. Yeah, Marvel Capcom.
That was Marvel Capcom. Marvel Capcom was on the Dreamcast, but Marvel Superheroes, Children of the Atom.
Children of the Atom. That's what I remember. But yeah, that's my only exposure to the Saturn. Other than that, it's like, I don't know.
And what Rob did not know due to that statement is that the Saturn, at least in America, was pretty low on the puzzle game format. Like, it's still a good topic because it gave me an excuse to play a really good track of mine from my game playing history. But finding the other tracks, yeah, it was quite the difficult endeavor. But we came up with some scrimmage. We got it together, and we still got some tunes that we want to share with you.
Yeah, I'm going to kick off with, I think, one of my strongest tracks that I found. It's really awesome. It's an arcade port. The game is called Cleopatra Fortune, or in Japan, just called the Shinin' Queen. Like shinin', like she's shining.
Shining!
Again, this is for the Sega Saturn. This is the music for arcade mode, or like what the in-game music for arcade mode. From what I could find, the music for the different stages, they had different music composed for all the individual stages on the Saturn, but the arcade was just like one song. It's really good though. It's awesome. It's Taito, so it's composed by the Taito in-house band Zuntata, which has many people in it, in and out of that band. So I might list them off later, but I don't know exactly who is who with this. But we'll just say this was from the Taito in-house band Zuntata. This is from the game Cleopatra Fortune arcade mode.
Story mobile.
Saying, ha, Suntara, Suntara. You're listening to the arcade mode, or the in-game music arcade mode for Cleopatra's Fortune, or just Cleopatra Fortune, for the Sega Saturn, composed by the Taito in-house group Zuntata.
This works for me just for the hash.
There's so much about this I love. I love this piano section. I think it's super catchy. I love the opening section of like that synthesizer where it's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That feels like really like positive.
Oh, I was doing some motions like the hands swaying and
it has like a good like I feel like you can like really chant like along to the song. Oh, hey,
No, you weren't doing it over there.
hey.
Like that track from the Command and Conquer game a couple
Yeah,
weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah. Oh, maybe not that far.
Hey,
A little less communist. But yeah, so this looks, a lot of the puzzle games I looked at on the Saturn were very much like Puyo Puyo, in which you're just dropping colored things, trying to match them up and clear off 3 in a row and combo them down, but just in different themes. So the theme of this one's like a super cute chibi Cleopatra.
well, I can work with that. So
Yeah, it's
this
cool.
it wasn't sultry Cleopatra, it was chibi Cleopatra.
Yeah, like cute chibi, like a little kid running around who's dressed up as Cleopatra.
Interesting. And it kind of makes me sad because when you say it had Cleopatra in it, I would want it to be like a Daedalian Opus style game, which I don't think there's such a thing outside of that one game.
Did that have a soundtrack?
It had a track, but I think it was the same song for every stage.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there were some really interesting puzzle games that came out in the early stages of the Game Boy. Like we played a Hisenkyo Alien a while back. I forget which episode it was, but that song was amazing.
And the game itself is really good too.
Yeah, but like just that game being released at that time was really cool because it was so Japanese.
I feel like I'm starting to think we should have an episode solely devoted to Pac-Man clones.
That would be amazing.
That just hit me because there's so many games out there where the whole premise was eat the dots or the money bags or the fruit
Yeah.
or
Oh
the
my
cherries.
God. Pac-Man clone music. See, like, I don't know how much work went into the music for these things, like those kind of weird hacky Pac-Man games.
No, I mean, they weren't even necessarily hacky. I mean, I'm just thinking about the theme. Like, Lock and Chase has awesome music, and it's a great game, but it's clearly a wannabe Pac-Man.
So I'm thinking of like Pac-Man clones. I'm thinking of like a weird, like, hacky version for the PC that someone produced. But you're talking like, no, like this is... It's a game that's it's so much like Pac-Man. It came out because it's like Pac-Man.
Exactly. Pac-Man laid the template out, and this guy said, what if instead of a yellow puck running from ghosts, it was a yellow circle running from cops? Called it a new game. So, and it was like, yeah, but this game has keys. Like, yeah, Super Pac-Man had keys. So.
Yeah, it did. Oh, man, dude. Again, Christy, that's her game. She could just play that until like the score rolls over.
Super Pac?
Super Pac, yeah.
Intriguing. Super Pac.
Super Pacs.
The government puzzler.
Super Pern.
I would love that puzzler too.
Well, Super Pern, what's your first track?
All right, well, I'm going to go on this thing head on because, quite frankly, I got to pick the track that made me want to do Saturn puzzles when you suggested it. And that goes from an old family favorite.
Oh, favorite.
COUCOU.
Was this your grandpappy's favorite?
My grandpappy didn't understand anything. At this point, I think my grandfather was... Now, he had just recently passed, but we were still leading into the period where he was like still kind of like wondering what the heck was up with us playing video games. Hey, buddy boy, why are you playing electronic? The guy help me pick up these cans. That was how he was. That's why I've collected cans for years too. That's fun to have. Fun fact, folks.
So
trash cans, soda cans, funded my game collection.
That's awesome, by the way. But did we just jump in the future to hear what you would sound like 20, 30 years from now?
It's quite possible, honestly. If I could sound like my grandfather when I'm old, I'd consider that an honor because he was an awesome dude.
Oh, I like that.
Hey, everybody!
It makes me not want to make crack jokes anymore because I was going to start cracking like time travel jokes. But
Oh, you can always crack time.
okay, so like we were going into the future from the past. We were with the Cleopatra, and now we're going to go into the future to where animals can talk.
Well, they can't talk, but they sure can eat. Let me tell you.
So Baku Baku, right?
Baku Baku Animal, and the track in question is Stage 3 Arcade. Yeah, I said arcade because that was the better theme that I played on the game, so I'm going with it. But it was on the Saturn, so it counts. welcome back. You are jamming out to the Arcade Stage 3 theme from the game Baku Baku Animal, composed by...
Oh, that's me, right?
Yes!
Tetsuya Kowachi.
All right, this game is pretty unknown to most people that I know, and I'm wagering that kind of carries over to the listener base as well. Baku Baku was a game that I bought because I was desperate for a game on my Saturn that had very few games on it. So I just bought it because it was a puzzle game, and I took it home. And then I don't know how else to describe, I don't know what else to say, but this game created one of the biggest family game rivalries that I've ever had in my life. Most of my family did not play video games, wouldn't touch them. My uncle had even grown out of them and just stopped bothering. Baku Baku brought him back. My uncle, my brother, two of his friends, two of my friends would come over to the house to throw the gauntlet down for Baku Baku Animal. And the entire game, it was madness. It was madness. I mean, the whole game, the premise was a kingdom far, far away had a princess who loved animals to the point where the kingdom, the castle guards and staff could not take care of them. So the king proposed a challenge to hire a zookeeper, a royal zookeeper. And it's just a bunch of characters battling it out to become the kingdom zookeeper. And this is done by dropping blocks of different foods into a pin and then dropping blocks of animal on top of the food.
Oh, and then they eat up like the blocks of the food. Oh, that's a fun idea. I like that.
It's awesome. And then the music and sound made it better because like whenever they start eating, you have to go and their heads would get big, they start to eat, and the characters would always say these ridiculous statements. Like, it was gibberish. Like, I don't know what they said, but it got to the point where when I was getting really cocky about the matches, I'd actually start saying what they were saying, like it was like, he cool! And they're like, how many eggs? And like, when you got the ridiculous combo, like 99 combo, it would stop counting and the game's like, I'm a number two. And like, I have no idea what it means, but you know when you heard it, I'm going to bring the hammer down, and you ain't going to like it. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I to this day miss it.
Awesome. I love that, like a family affair puzzle game.
And it gets better. One of the friends of mine, Anthony, he turned into a new family tradition. He plays it with his wife and kids now. The rivalry lives.
I love it. Man, now I want to try this game.
You need to.
You still have it, right?
I still have it. It's a great game.
Oh, man, we got to try that. I have to try this. I love the cover art. It's got this panda with just all this bamboo stuffed in its face. But like the face is like it's elongated, almost like a dog. It's adorable. It's so cute.
It's such a golden game, and it's sad to a sense because it never like Sega has done so many collections of games. This has never resurfaced anywhere.
Like Columns has been everywhere. There's even a collection of like a classic Sega collection on the Saturn that includes Columns.
But Baku Baku has been lost to time.
Man, that's amazing. That is amazing to me. So I also picked a track from Baku Baku, but in the spirit of trying to cover as many puzzle games as possible, because there's only so many, I'm going to skip it.
So you're bailing on the Blaku Blaku.
I'm bailing on the Blaku Blaku of Baku Baku. Well, maybe we'll play it on the at the end. When we're finishing up, but I want to switch to something different here. This is a game called Monster Slider for the Sega Saturn, and couldn't find any composer information for this track, but it's themed with like super cute, a little bit on the chibi side, like monsters, like Draculas and vampires and stuff like monsters like that.
And they do the electric slide for the
it's one of the
bonus points.
It's very similar to Tetris Attack, where you're kind of sliding the blocks left and right, but each of the blocks are like little Frankenstein heads and stuff.
Okay.
So that's all I really know about it. But the soundtrack is really cool. So this is just called Strong Opponent. So I think it's like when you're probably playing against like a difficult computer player. Okay. So from the game Monster Slider. You're listening to music from the game Monster Slider for the Sega Saturn. The composer is unknown on this one, but the track is called Strong Opponent, and it's the background music for stages 4 and 5.
I'm actually enjoying this game, and it makes me want to play a little bit of it. Though I also have to wonder now, because I think you mentioned earlier, like it's like monster head sliding back and forth. Is it like sort of like a sort of a Tetris Attack sort of block sliding game?
That's what it looked like, but like almost like the blocks looked kind of like, I don't know, kind of slanted to the side a little bit. But the music it fits the theme like really, really well. Like it's fun and it's super funky with that bass line. But it does sound like a scary movie almost.
Yeah, just a dash of spooky.
It's like an adventurous type of scary movie. It's super cool. Really cool track. Really, really neat soundtrack. The synths and everything sound really crunchy, kind of old school. It was developed in '97 by a company called VGM. Have you heard of them?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. If this were Taito, I mean, this sounds like it could have been like Zuntata. Like it's super funky. It's got that keyboard solo.
I got this odd feeling someone's going to come back after this episode airs and just like bite us both in the butt. Like, for example, the last episode we did, we picked a game and the developer was Irem, and we couldn't remember anybody from Irem. A buddy of mine comes on over and was like, "How do you not remember R-Type?"
Oh,
I remember
right.
R-Type. I'm like,
I forgot about that.
I wasn't thinking about that. I remember I never really got into R-Type, but yay.
Yay, R-Type? I'm not calling you out. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
We missed the boat on that, Rob.
Yeah. Oh, another thing to note on this track are the drum fills. It sounds like it was like composed like for a live band. You know what I mean? Like it's like.
Do you foresee a singer going up on stage to sing along to the beat?
Maybe if it wasn't such a weird tune.
I don't know. I could see a Cyndi Lauper singing along
Like
with this.
Let me think of something good here.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't even attempt it.
My love and you can't have me.
That's not good. Put it back. It's not done.
All right, it's back.
Put it back in. It's not done. It was a noble effort, though, sir.
You know, you can't just censor greatness over here
You got a
on
point.
this side of the studio.
I'm trying not to, but
It's getting hot
sometimes
in here. Actually, I know I open a window.
Yeah, it is a bit sticky. What?
Stuffy.
Well, it's hot.
What's your track?
Okay, let's see.
Because that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Let me think. I have 3 tracks here. I'm going to go with this one then, because it's clearly need to play tune.
So this is like a must-have.
Yeah, I would think so for a puzzle episode on the Saturn, particularly, or heck, even if it was the PlayStation first, I would have picked it.
All right.
Puzzle Bobble Bust a Move in the States, is a pretty much well-beloved puzzle game series, even though it's been dead for ages. Though there have been recent, I guess, reiteration pop-ups like Adventure Pop on the PlayStation 4 recently, but it's basically a Puzzle Bobble.
Puzzle Bobble, yeah. Oh, I was obsessed with these games. Like, I played so much. I had it for the Neo Geo Pocket, too.
Ah.
Yeah, that was like the first thing I got for it. Actually, that's what sold me on the Neo Geo Pocket.
Was Puzzle Bobble?
Well, that and all the fighters.
Well, if you had any opportunity to play multiplayer on this particular game, you know this track inside and out. This particular track is Stage Theme 3 from the game Puzzle Bobble 2. Welcome back. You were listening to the Puzzle Bobble 2 Stage 3 theme, though I'm not really... This is not actually where I personally heard the track or thought of it, but that is technically how it's credited. Stage Theme 3, Playfield Theme 3, World 3. It's a lot of themes. Honestly, I've been trying to figure out who the composer is for this, and I have no idea.
I found it.
Oh!
Kazuko Umino.
Nice going. See, because I was drawing up quite the blank.
Kazuko Umino, member of Zuntata.
Oh, so he is in Zuntata?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so we were thinking Zuntata, but it wasn't credited to the band as a whole.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have, like, I mean, as far as like an in-house band, it's one thing, but like you know that certain people specifically compose for games, for specific games, and so it's nice to have a name, fit a name to a game, you know.
Game.
This is like fun. It's got kind of like a cartoony thing where it's like.
Yeah, I think I know this. What this typically plays, this plays on the versus theme stage. So if you played a lot of versus mode, this is the track you'll hear constantly for hours on end.
And these games are great head-to-head games.
Yes, they are. I have legitimate rivalries out there. I have a friend named Leslie. We would go to like Anime Centrals year in a year. And I remember one particular year, we met in the game room at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't know why we were both up, but we started playing Puzzle Bobble, and it went for hours. And it was vicious. It was vicious. I think she cut me once or twice, and I yelled profanities in her direction.
Yeah, I've always asked about those scars, but you haven't ever wanted to talk about it until now.
Well, now you know. Leslie gave them to me.
Okay.
But then we had breakfast, and it was fun. So, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The game is also...
And then you played more Puzzle Bobble.
Oh, of course. To this day, she'll still trash talk me. Like, remember that game? I kicked the crap out of you, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I mean, no, you didn't. It was bad. Like this, and also you got to factor in. This was back during my early period where I was like, girls don't play video games, and the fact that she showed up and was like, smackdown, let's just laid it down for me. This is ridiculous.
That's nice.
This is preposterous. How'd you learn how to play this game? And she's like, what are you talking about? This is my first time playing it today. She was clearly lying, but that's the joke. That's the joke. I never played till today.
No, I got into the series. I think I was like 19 or 20, and it was Bubble Bobble 4 for the PS1. Mm-hmm. And there was like so many unlockables in that game. It was ridiculous. Like all these different characters. Everything else was the same. The stages were the same, and the mechanics were the same. But there were so many of them. And then that year, I went to visit some family in London, and they had Bubble Bobble like cabinets like at bars. Like you go sit down at a bar, and there'd be like cabinets on the bars
to play Puzzle Bobble.
Yeah, Puzzle Bobble.
That's awesome.
I'm like, this is the best bar game ever.
It really would be. I mean, I actually have trouble picturing it though because it requires a very steady hand.
It does.
And all these drunk people trying to play it together.
No, my Street Fighter experience has shown me that it helps a little bit because too much caffeine makes it way too twitchy.
I could see that being the case. Caffeine would kill you in Puzzle Bobble.
Yeah, I believe it. But this is a lot of fun. It's very, very cartoony. I like the little slow section here too.
I can see that.
Where it's kind of like a lot of strings, and then it gets really...
It really prolongs the sweating as you're getting your butt ripped out.
It's very fast for versus mode. Like it's a very quick loop.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm trying to think of how fast matches would typically go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they weren't like super long.
No, they went fairly fast. Especially if someone got a really good chain.
Not for playing you, from what I've heard.
Smash Adams, break it down. I make it quick and painful.
No, I know better than to challenge you to puzzle games.
I remember that.
Oh, I know.
Remember that.
All right, so my final track is from an odd one, and I think it's a series of games of dating sims that had a manga made from it, and then an anime made from it, and then a puzzle game made based on the anime that's based on some dating sims. This is Tokimeki Memorial.
Ooh.
And it's a puzzle game called Tokimeki Memorial Taisen Puzzle Dama. So Taisen Puzzle Dama is apparently a series of puzzle games. And this is for the Sega Saturn. And this track is called Carrying My Friends Onward by Yuji Takanoichi, Yoshihiko Kazuhiko, and Katsuhiro Senu.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work for a lot of game.
This is true.
Because it's like it's a puzzle game, but it's also, I mean, I couldn't get a lot of gameplay, but it looked like it was still a dating sim somehow. Like the tracks and like there's a lot of cutscenes, so it's like, do you love me? I don't know. I'll see you in class next week. Let's fight. You're like puzzle fight or something.
With dropping blocks.
I have no idea. But check this out. This is called Carrying My Friends Onward from the game Tokimeki Memorial Tyson Puzzle Dama. You're listening to Carrying My... Now, I thought it was My Friends Onward, but maybe it was Feelings Onward, but it's mispronounced Feelings.
Somehow that sounds like a lot less work, actually.
So I think it's Feelings. So it's Carrying My Feelings Onward from the game Tokimeki Memorial Tyson Puzzle Dama for the Sega Saturn. Composed by Yuji Takunoichi, Yoshihiko Koezuka, and Katsuhiro Senuo. This is a fun song. I forgot that I wanted to start with this song, as it just feels like a great start to the day.
It really does. Like, this could have been this is one of those tracks that you could see. I think we had an episode, like multiple episodes back, where it had a similar thing. Was this is the contract you could hear waking up in the morning, like, time to start my day.
Yeah, this is a montage, like a montage. Like, you got your cereal,
you get your cereal bowl, you get your pet your pants on, you run out the house with your anime signature piece of toast in your mouth.
Yeah, you're carrying your bag, and it's like behind you. You're like, yeah.
Yep. Wave to the family members down to different people on your block as you go by. Hi.
Do you jump on the bus or a train?
Oh, actually, none of the above. You actually grab the back of the bus because you miss it, but it's okay because you catch it and you're sitting on the bumper.
I love it. You're hanging off the side.
Mm-hmm.
And you're waving at everybody.
Like, hey, I still got it, everybody. And everyone's like, that's Pernell for you.
I like that
scampy kid.
You go by like the shop, and there's like an old lady, and she's like, "Oh, there he is. Oh, good to see you.
Such a good young man.
Finish your toast."
No, never finish it. This is Endless Toast.
Yeah, this song is called "Endless Toast" from the game Tokimeki. No,
I wish. But yeah, this definitely is a track.
Yeah, it's a feel-good track.
It put a smile on my face and it has me over here tapping. So this was an excellent choice on your part.
Puzzle games in my mind they live right alongside like fighting games. So because like a lot of them really focus on these head-to-head competitive modes, and the work that you go into just destroying your friends. Like, it gets competitive. Like, it gets really hard. But the music is always so fluffy.
Yes, it is.
Like, fluffy in a good way. Like, this is fluffy. I love this.
I'm honestly, I would like to challenge someone head to head to this tune. you smile as you administer a beatdown. It's perfect.
Like even a Puzzle Fighter had some like it was like Puzzle Fighter was like here's the Street Fighter music, but with like in this kind of style.
Well, let's be honest. Puzzle Fighter was like a weird juxtaposition there. We had happy music in a lot of cases, but the center screen is people beating the tar out of each other literally.
Yeah.
As you do combos. So it was like, well, I don't know how good I can feel about this.
I haven't played that game in ages. I had it for the 360, and then I kind of stopped.
Yeah, I have stories about that game as what got me out of it, but one day I hope to return, pay it a visit.
Yeah, I understand. People understand that the randomness isn't exactly random, and you play the game, and then you get played.
Oh, I got played, all right.
Yeah.
10-year-old.
How much did you lose?
It was brutal. Blood everywhere.
Oh, God. You were a sacrifice to the Puzzle Fighter gods.
Lives were lost that day. Kingdoms fell.
So someone was just like lining them up, like, all right, who wants to play Puzzle Fighter?
Wasn't even. It was just a tournament, and the
Trying
guy
to bring
got
back the ancient ones.
got a cheapo 99 combo. He had no business doing that. He didn't know how to play the game.
Lame.
It was very lame. He cheated.
Lame. Well, so that's the thing about good things, though. Good vibes. Endless toast.
I do love endless toast. Now I want some. I would love this toast.
And a big cup of butter.
Ew, God, what are you trying to kill me? He's drinking butter for breakfast.
No, this whole episode's about killing you for now.
Well, good luck trying, because we picked games that I would smash you with down the
I
board.
know. So I can't beat you in Puyo Puyo. I can't beat you in Tetris. I can't beat you in that one game that you like a lot. That's on Neo Geo.
That's right. You haven't even played Baku Baku, and you can't beat me in that.
It's probably not.
But that's okay.
That's okay. That's all right.
Well, Magical Drop was picked before in a previous episode, but
Was there a magical drop on the Saturn?
that was where I first played it.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was Neo Geo.
It was arcade Neo Geo, and then it got a home port to the Saturn and the PlayStation 1.
Okay, I got you.
And being that that's the case, I'll take the excuse to play another Magical Drop 3 track because it has so many. But I tried to find a track that was the Saturn theme or Saturn sound instead of just some willy-nilly.
Saturn-centric.
Yes, and I did come across one in particular that I'm not even sure existed in the arcades because I don't think I ever looked for that mode, but I don't recall seeing it either. And the track title is Hurry Up! And it is pretty much like the endless mode of Magical Drop 3. That's the theme for it.
Where it's like constantly like you're on the edge.
Yeah, bubbles are constantly dropping until you die. So
Bubbles drop until you die.
So hurry up! It's time to listen to Hurry Up from the game Magical Drop 3
I'm getting
from the Sega Saturn. Welcome back. You're listening to the Hurry Up tune from the game Magical Drop 3, written and composed by a lot of people.
Well, just a few. A handful. Classic Data East composers Hiroaki Yoshida, Masaaki Iwasaki, Shogo Sakai, and Tatsuya Kiuchi.
This track is definitely living up to the name and the title, that is Hurry Up. It is
It's frantic, man. It's super frantic.
Frantic, fast-paced, the works. And it needs to be because it gets a little bit hairy on the endless mode. People wonder why I'm really good at Magical Drop 3. Well, this mode is pretty much living proof of that.
So this is like where you get your practice in?
More like it was just something to do when I had nobody to play against for a while. And This is the only puzzle game that I can remember or think of where I can get to the max level and not break a sweat with maintaining it. I've played this game for hours thinking that, hey, if I just keep going, it'll end, right? Okay, if I make the score go all nines, it'll end, right? No, it doesn't. I've actually maxed out the score on endless mode for Magical Drop 3.
That's insane.
It took hours of listening to the same track over and over again. So you know what this means? That the highest level of difficulty this game gets is that if you're holding on to bubbles and not making a move, it'll just start pushing bubbles until the game's cleared, until it just smashes you. So you pretty much fill the screen, clear the entire screen, fill the entire screen, clear the entire screen, over and over and over again. Flawless clears. And I was nailing them.
That's impressive. That's because I find this game weirdly challenging.
I don't know what it is about Magical Drop, but this was like it and I have a natural connection. First time I saw people playing, I was like, hey, what's this game like? Oh, can I try? Undefeated.
Now, moving at that speed, would you say you're faster with a gamepad or a joystick?
Gamepad, hands down.
Gamepad, really?
God, yes. Have you ever seen a expert level Magical Drop game on an arcade stick? It is madness. Like, I can't do this. I smack it.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Because that's how you can move quickly with the wrist.
Yeah. Now imagine doing that for hours.
So your thumb was just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, it's one thing to go tap, 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 tap. There's another thing to go. It really hurts. People listening can't see my hand, but it literally is like you hold your hand up like in a chopping motion, and you just smack the joystick back and forth, like over and over again.
We need to watch some Tetris the Grandmaster play because those guys have some really interesting joystick technique.
And it's amazing.
Might turn you.
I might have to give it a shot.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm pretty joysticksual, but I would give it a try if need be to see if these guys can show me a trick or two.
That is the best Pernell word I've ever heard. A joysticksual.
I try.
I've never heard that before. I love it.
But it's true. It's like it's when you get to these games to an extent, there's like a certain point. Music games have a knack for that too, where you come in and you're like, okay, this game looks fun, and you start to play, and you're to a point where you kind of peak, and you're like, I got to do something to transcend my current level of gameplay.
Yeah. You start trying to figure out like how am I playing that I can change to improve?
And that's when you start smacking the joystick or getting a battery to rub across the buttons or all sorts of weird
spoon.
tricks.
You get a spoon on the A, B buttons, and you just rub them back and forth to do track and field.
I don't even see the spoon.
Yeah, spoon technique's where it's at.
See, so now we have to do
It's the same theory with the battery. It's got to be like a smooth, curved surface.
But then the question is, which one works faster, the battery or the spoon?
I don't know.
That's a challenge.
That'll be like our...
the grudge match.
The grudge match. We'll have to record that sometime. It'd be really weird.
Battery versus spoon.
Battery versus spoon.
I see you played battery spoony before.
All right, now this one I'm going to bring all the way down. I'll bring the sound all the way down. Because now we are going to have a good old bonus round.
Bonus round. Bonus!
That's a good one. The bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes based on today's theme. So I found some fantastic remixes from the game Bomberman. So a lot of Bomberman, there was a Saturn version of Bomberman. It was just called like Saturn Bomberman.
Saturn Bomberman.
It's called Saturn Bomberman. So that's easy to remember. All right. So it was Saturn Bomberman.
Yeah, you'll get it. Just keep at it, little boy. You'll get it.
I don't know if that was it, but anyway, I felt like, okay, Bomberman, I can work this in. Bomberman. Most of the Bomberman games are composed by Jun Chikuma, and she's very active on SoundCloud. She plays a flute and these different other kinds of like variations of this flute instrument, and she's really into Indian folk music, and she has a lot of really cool music on her SoundCloud page. I will have some links to that. But she also had like 20 Bomberman remixes, which is awesome. So this is just Bomberman number 15. I guess at the 15th in her series of these things. It's called the Breakbeat Bossa Nova Remix.
Ooh, I like the sound of this.
So I hope you enjoy it. By composer Jun Chikuma and remixed by Jun Chikuma. So enjoy. This is Saturn Bomberman, number 15, Breakbeat Bossa Nova Remix. Composed and arranged by Jun Chikuma, with keyboards by Jun Chikuma, guitar by Karao Akimoto, and bass by Hirohiko Atsubo. That's an amazing, amazing song. It's just so good. Just feel good, chilled out vibes. So, and that lead, it's got that slidey lead and the slidey bass. It's so much fun.
It was very loungy, and that's the kind of music I honestly feel like I might have to grab that and play it on my way home tonight or in my living room, because I feel lately I've been contemplating throwing together a mix of lounge tracks to play off of my speakers at home, just when I'm like kind of doping around at home and I want noise playing without lyrics and stuff like that.
I thought it'd be fun, like a good like lounge mix of like game tracks and like kind of game mixes.
They didn't necessarily be gamey, though. I'm not going to say no to those. Just loungy in general. Like, for example, like I'm not sure if you remember the band Fantastic Plastic Machine from years ago.
That sounds super familiar. But no.
Awesome band. They typically do lounge tracks.
Okay.
And similar, I feel like this could have fit into some of the stuff they've done. But God, this was solid. I feel like I don't even want to give a bonus round track. But
you gotta come through. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so yeah, if you have the idea of like a lot of like loungy type stuff, that could be a future bonus beats episode.
Hey,
it'd be kind of fun to do. The next one is planned is super high energy, crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the next one, which is coming soon.
To a podcast near you.
To a pair of headphones while you're working or doing laundry near you. Or most likely driving to work or something like that.
Whistle while you work to it. It's okay.
Get down. All right, so what did you bring?
Well, I definitely struggled with the art of choosing a remix track for this episode. Alas, I'm just not good because there's not a lot of puzzle games for the Saturn.
Yeah, that's all right.
So I cheated a little bit, and I went with a remix from Puzzle Bobble 1, but I think the song appears in Puzzle Bobble 2, so I'm going to call Mulligan and let it rock.
Go for
so it is called Silver Dragon's Bubbles, remixed from the game Puzzle Bobble, and is remixed by the artist COUCOU. That's COUCOU. Not couscous, COUCOU. have. That was good stuff. Unexpectedly grand old good stuff. So heck, even if this track didn't appear in Puzzle Bobble 2 and I'm somehow mistaken, I don't care because this is good.
Yeah, that was really fun. I had a cool like 80s synthwave kind of thing about it, but like not. It was still modern sounding. It was subtle.
I was like the bwah, bwah.
You like the little wobble was. I love the synth sounds on that. They were really, really neat.
It was definitely a good jam, and I'm actually glad to come across it because I was really losing hope. I was like, I can't find anything I want to listen to. And to put in perspective, if I did not like this track, I would have likely more so said I have no remix this episode, or gone with something from a completely unrelated topic. But this was good.
I would have been fine with that. We've done that way, way, way in the past, but I really like that we try to keep at it.
Got to. That's how we keep the theme rolling. It also gives us a challenge of looking for specific things out there.
You always like the challenge.
I do. Always play those games on hard, to quote a friend.
Well, I challenge our audience, the listeners, you over there listening to the show.
I think he's talking to you.
If you want more information about the artists on the bonus round part of the show, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to their SoundClouds, Bandcamps, and everywhere else you can get their music. I want to thank you for joining us on episode 7-6 of Rhythm and Pixels, our focus on Sega Saturn music. Man, this was fun.
It really was. Oh my God!
Well, not just Sega Saturn music, but Sega Saturn puzzle games.
This was brutal. I feel like now it kind of has me wondering what would be a genre for the Sega Saturn that would be almost a no-brainer, easy thing to pull off. Like fighters, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighters. Like what were some of your favorite titles on the Saturn? We'll start.
Guardian Heroes. Blazing Heroes, also known as, I think it was like Heroes of Mystaria. I can't remember what the original name was called anymore.
It's an RPG?
Yep.
Okay,
strategy RPG.
So we have a beat 'em up and an RPG.
Shining Force 3.
RPG.
Shining the Holy Ark.
So I think RPGs would be probably the way to go.
But there's others that aren't RPGs on there too, on pause, like Rick's Adventures.
Yeah, there's a lot of shooters and action games.
Blazing Heroes. The other Burning Rangers. I was like, Burning Rangers.
Blazing Saddles for the Sega Saturn.
Burning Rangers, Nights into Dreams. That was another goodie.
Yes. We played the Christmas version.
Yeah. The Saturn had a number of good games. It's just, it was a struggle to find them a lot of the time. Magic Knight Rebirth, which you've also done on the show.
So would you say the Saturn has maybe a smaller catalog then?
Oh, yeah. Very much so. It came out to overhyped price, or way inflated price. And I think it was always kind of struggling to make sales. And then when the PlayStation came out at a lower cost, and it kind of just came out, hit the ground running. And then from that point, Sega was constantly playing catch up at that point. And it's sad because the system was powerful to my recollection. I think to this day, it was really hard for like modders and emulators to kind of replicate because of how complicated the hardware was.
I think so, yeah. And compared to the PlayStation, I think it had more RAM, so it could do more like 2D games.
And then it had the RAM cart when it had to go overdrive.
The RAM expansion for like a lot of the fighters, like the Marvel superheroes and stuff like that.
So it's like it's just a system that I think it had more potential than it was given a chance to shine because it kind of overpriced itself, kind of like
all the Sega hardware.
Yep. But the problem was Sega. A lot of people talk about the Dreamcast failing, and there were just so many elements to why that thing failed. But one of them, and one that a lot of people don't talk too much about, is the Saturn. Is partly why the Dreamcast failed, because people that were big fans of Sega, even though they made a number of missteps, still bought into the Saturn. And Sega, in their infinite wisdom, decided to just throw the tile down to say, we need to run from this Saturn. We're not going to do it anymore. We're going to be the first team out the gate running. We're going to make this new system, this Dreamcast, and it's going to be better. But by this time, PlayStation was already talking about the PlayStation 2. It was like 2 to 3 years down the way, but they were already like, this is what we're doing when it comes out, but we're not running towards it. We're just preparing for it.
So you're saying the Dreamcast was a little too quick out the gate?
I think so, because they still had to they needed to win their fans back. There were games in Japan for the Saturn that just didn't even they wouldn't even bring to the States that people wanted.
Yeah.
So it was like they really just cut it just like that. We're done with the Saturn. Even though they had more they could have done, they could have done more to say, hey, while we're leading up to this Dreamcast, we're not going to just abandon the hardware. We'll keep putting games out as best we can. Do something to show we care, and they just didn't. And again, when the system came out, diehard Sega fans, a lot of them were like, well, no, we moved on. Others still bought the Dreamcast, and they're the ones that were kind of holding out hope that it did make it.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. I mean, I had a Dreamcast day one, and I did get a PS2, but I was the guy saying, well, don't hold on for the PS2. Buy this now. It's good. It's good. And
Right,
people wouldn't
right.
listen.
Well, I mean, I think piracy had a lot to do with it, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely for software sales. It
Yeah.
killed their software sales.
So, I want to wrap this up. If you have any suggestions for new topics, and we did receive a weird suggestion through Twitter,
The best kind.
we're doing it. John, thank you for your submission, for your topic submission. We will honor it.
Good luck.
Maybe
that's
not right-
part of the fun.
Maybe not right away, but we do this every week, so you'll be hearing it soon, and it will be interesting.
I'm going to start digging for that pretty soon, actually. Maybe even at work tomorrow. Just drop a list of games down, remember what the games were about, and see if I can come across some tunes that fit the mold. But this is a hilarious topic.
But if you have other topics, if you have anything for us, if you just want to say hi, we love to hear from you. We love to hear where you're coming from. Send us an email.
Rhythm and Pixels at hotmail.com.
If you want more information about the show and a full track listing, go to the website.
Rhythmandpixels.com. Yeah.
And if you want to check us out on Twitter, pretty active on Twitter, it's rhythm_n_pixels. That's our Twitter handle. And then over there on Facebook and Instagram, it's Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. Check us out on YouTube. Pretty soon, I think I'll have some ideas planned for future Bonus Beats episodes. So I have a full Bonus Beats episode coming up in the next couple weeks, which is kind of a mixtape of chiptunes and remixes and stuff that I just really like kind of done in a full DJ style. Probably done as an additional episode to our normal schedule. And I'm thinking of doing some live streaming, some live streaming of the DJ sets. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do.
Rob is getting into this music like a fine can of paste.
Well, I'd like to stream games, but I can't figure it out and make the time to do it. But I'm always playing tracks, so why not? It'd be kind of cool.
Well, if I stop being a ragamuffin, that would be where I come in, because I can do the games in the sense that I don't play as much as I used to, but I have an absurd amount to play.
Yeah, you got a lot there, and a lot of classics too, which is great. But yeah, so maybe not another future topic on Sega Saturn, just Sega Saturn, but we're definitely going to hear more Sega Saturn music in the future, because the tracks tonight I've really loved.
Well, I got to find an excuse to put Guardian Heroes on this show at least once, because that game has music on top of good music.
Have we? I don't think we played Guardian Heroes yet.
We haven't.
Shit. Wow, we have done 66 episodes.
Well, that's the thing.
Guardian Heroes. That's crime.
Well, that's the thing about our format.
Yeah.
There's we choose themes, and the themes we choose typically 6 to 8 tracks per episode. And ultimately, based on that format alone, we're going to miss a lot of stuff, which is why revisiting old topics will be good. But of course, don't want to just start doing part twos. But that's what we're going to ultimately have to do, because we did beat 'em ups. We haven't done Saturn beat 'em ups, but then what we're going to have Dynamite Deca and then Guardian Heroes, and that might be it.
Yeah, we don't exactly limit ourselves to specific generations or hardware, so it's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so ultimately it's going to be sequels that bring it back, or crazy concepts like medieval barbecues. I don't know.
Yeah, something really odd that I'll have a hard time. I'm saying we. I mean me. But join us next week for 7-7. We're having a super lucky episode, lucky number 7.
Mm-hmm. Seven.
So we got some fun stuff planned for that. So next Monday, check us out. But until then, you've been listening to the Rhythm and Pixels Video Game Music Podcast. I'm Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And genuinely, thank you for listening to the show.
We greatly appreciate everything you do and what you contribute to our show by even just enjoying it, because that's what we hope for you to do.
Have a great week.
And remember, You thought I didn't have one.
I didn't remember.
Puzzling ordeals and puzzling situations are order of the day, and in a lot of respects, people tend to find themselves saying, I don't want to deal with a lot of complications or weird, things I have to contemplate and break down to solve. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to, vegetate half the time. But the problem is, you don't want to make that your overall, all the time thing. Challenge yourself as often as you possibly can mentally, because quite frankly, the older you get, the more your brain needs that brain food. The ability to know that it too can still think its way out of a paper bag or a silver bag or a gold bag, whatever material you can come up with. But it's worth your time to constantly keep your brain functioning and exercise. Heck, play video games. That'll do it too.